that run up there? Oh, just to the left of it. Might do though. Oh, there we go. We got her free. Probably scared it by now. Oh, there he is. Come on, baby. I know you see it. I think they've got wise to our tricks. Welcome back to another episode of Blue Line Outfitters. Today I'm going to be filming a video, try to explain and show the differences between three of the JP Ross, his small stream rods that he's got, a 5-footer, that's carbon, a 6.5 foot Beaver Meadow carbon, and a 6.5 foot Beaver Meadow S-Glass. Be going into kind of trying to show you the differences and maybe the action of them, try to convey how they feel in my hand so you can understand it. So the Beaver Meadows I have, the 6-footer is the Zen Emerald Edition. I'll have some shots of the rods close up that I'll put in here. The 5-footer is also a Beaver Meadow Zen Emerald Edition, and the 6.5 foot S-Glass is a Blue Liner. I'm gonna be using a 2-weight and 3-weight line today. I'm gonna use a 2-weight each weight on each rod, trying to show you a little bit of difference in the weights, maybe the tighter loops, more open loops, so you can get an idea how you would like to fish your rods. The 2-weight's gonna be JP's Beaver Meadow line. I've really enjoyed using it. It throws a real tight loop. I'll hopefully be able to convey that and show you that on camera. It'd be on the Nirvana reel, the 2-weight, and I also got just a regular on my 3-weight Able. So I'll be switching those out, but I'll show you and I'll put in the video which one at the time I'm using. So see if I can get this thing rigged up and get it started. This is the Nirvana on the fly reel. It's a 2-4 weight. This thing, I just love I don't know if you can get a size. That thing is pretty cool, pretty small. Since our rigging video, I've added some more backing. Of course, you can see it being loose. It's not wound tight anymore after you pull it off a few times. So it's filled up pretty nice. You probably could add a little bit more back in there, but I'm okay with it. You don't really pull off a whole bunch of fly line anyway on a small rod. Two of these, if you've checked out our other videos, we've set this up with the leader is nail knotted to the leader is nail knotted to the fly line, so you don't have the loop-to-loop connections for small streams. That's the way I prefer to fish it. So yeah. A 2 got JP. He sells these with his some of his rod combos. I had already purchased this prior to getting one from, or I didn't get one from JP. I bought this myself because, as you can tell, it's a small reel too. This one's unique, a small reel, because it has a drag on it. Not sure how I feel about a drag on a reel this small. Only bonus to it is if you're traveling through the woods or something and you going from spot to spot, and you can basically cinch down your drag, and a branch won't get hung on the line and pull your pull line off your reel for you. So that's about the thing. That's the only thing I can find that's useful. Other than that, you're not going to put any real a fish on a drag that where we fish. JP also sells these with combos if you'd like it. I think this one was purchased from JP. I have purchased all these rods from JP, so I paid for them, paid for the reels, except for that one. But this is really pretty. Well, you see the size difference. So, and this is a 2-3. This has got 3-weight line on it. This one's got 2-weight line. I believe the Stone Creek has 3-weight line on it, even though it says 0.2. I put a 3-weight line on it. She's kind of full. So, first up is the JP Ross. This is the 6'6" Beaver Meadow S-Glass. I just love this blue liner. This is a gorgeous rod. But anyways, so yeah, this is the 6'6" S-Glass. Beautiful. All right, we'll get this thing lined up. Be back in a second. All right, I got her rigged up here. So as someone who likes fly rods, likes especially small string fly rods, I had been looking for a fiberglass fly rod for a while, but it was tough to find one because I really didn't like the weight of them. You know, holding carbon rods, it's they feel a little heavy in the hand, especially if you're going to spend all day doing like this. After about 4 or 5 hours of basically high sticking, you know, runs and stuff like that, your shoulder gets pretty tired. A carbon rod is, you know, a whole lot lighter in the hand. So I've held a lot of fiberglass rods, and I watched a lot of YouTube videos on, I'll say a few YouTube videos on the S-Glass of JP's. And two, I don't know if you can tell, but like the diameter of this rod is a lot thinner than a lot of other fiberglass rods that I've held. So I think that, I mean, that obviously cuts down the weight, but this, it has a real nice bend to it. It's really hard to, like the balance of it is pretty good, or is excellent actually. This is with the Nirvana reel. You can see that it's right about in the cork right there where your hand would be is, I'm just holding the fly line here. I'm not balancing it, but you can see that it's just balanced really nice. So this is a small stream taper, so it kind of folds out, unrolls a little easier in a little tighter spaces. So I fished with it at those really tight loop. I said I'll try to show that best I can, and we're going to cast this 30 feet, 60 feet. So see about that 30 feet. Man, look at there. Nothing to it. Especially with that small stream taper. See, that rolls off nice. It's a little faster. You can see I can feel the difference in the 2-weight and 3-weight line. I don't know if that's coming through on the distance of the loops, but the 2-weight throws a much tighter loop. That can be good if you're sidearm casting up a creek, rhododendron, hanging over a good tight loop, and you can be able to shoot the line up the creek. So it's 30 feet, no problem. 30 feet, no problem. I'll see if we can back it out to 60, or back it up to, or out to you. There again, I'm trying not to overpower the rod. It's not quite got the weight of the 3-weight. I can cast it just short, just like the 3-weight, just short of 60 foot. But with a talented fly caster, I'm sure that'd be no problem. Yep, just shy, about 5 foot shy of 60 feet. All right, now got the S-Glass with 3-weight line, able reel. You can tell that the balance point's just a little further back, maybe like only like an inch than with the other reel. So you see it's still right there in the bulk of the cork. So still well balanced. But we're gonna do some casting with the 3-weight. I think JP recommends 2-weight. I personally have fished both, and I like the 2-weight because this action's already slow. So slowing it down even more with the 3-weight line, to me, is a little much. So, but you know, fish your own styles. If you like the 3-weight, some people like the way slower action. So just gonna give you my opinion, and I'll try to show you the difference in casting with the 3-weight. The loops will be a little more open, and you won't cast quite as far. So, all right, try to do some casting here so you can see the difference in 2-weight and 3-weight. Hopefully this comes out right. You can see casting at 30 feet with ease. There's nothing to it. Loops are a little more open. You can pick up a lot of line with this thing really easy. You see, that's a pretty tight loop. The one thing I know on the S-Glass versus carbons is you gotta fish with them a little bit to understand the reaction time's a little slower on a fish take, because you've got the initial give in the rod to bend. It's not quite as reactive as carbon rods. So you gotta account for just a little bit of difference in timing on your hook set. All right, let's see what we can do out here. With this S-Glass, I can't. I'm sure Hemp is a little more talented caster than I am. Could probably roll off to 60 feet, no problem. I can get just about 5 foot short of 60 feet with this rod with 3-weight line without overpowering the rod, making tailing loops and causing a mess. So one thing I have noticed about this S-Glass is if you overpower it, like if you're trying to force the cast, it'll let you know it. So the name of this game with this rod is Delicacy. See, that was just a beautiful cast, rolled out nicely. Look at that, rolled out pretty. So, got plenty of power. It's like I said, this is a 6.5 foot rod. This is not what casting 60 feet is not what this thing's made for at all. This is literally just showing that if you got into an open spot with a long pool or something, and if you had the room for the back cast to cast that far, that it is capable. I'm a marginal fly caster, and I can get just shy of 60 feet. So 30 feet, no problem. You can do that with the flick of the wrist with this thing. It's minimal effort, minimal effort. All right. So I capture this bow and arrow cast with the S-glass. You can see that rod recovery. Alrighty, this right here is the 6'6" focus Beaver Meadow carbon. This is that emerald. It's just a color. Zen emerald, just beautiful color. I love that dark green. So, all right. Got the 6'6" Beaver Meadow carbon right here. I don't know if you can see the carbon's on the bottom. Get it to focus. But the diameter difference, if you can see the, I don't know if I just got a black background, but see the diameter difference? And the carbon, obviously, the carbon's got a little more structural strength, so it's easier to make them smaller, but just for comparison's sake. I can tell you that the carbon rod, just holding the casting the S-glass there for a few minutes, probably 10 minutes, that this thing is noticeably lighter. To try to show you this, the balance point. But JP has, I don't know if you can see the cork, the bulk of the cork, it's right there in the middle. See where your hand would hold? That's where the bulk of where the balance point is, right there in the bulk of the cork. So it balances nice, feels nice, and we'll do some casting. I can tell you this thing casts really well. So 30 feet with this thing is nothing. This has got a real nice cast to it. It makes it easy. Look at there, 30 feet like it ain't. I mean, that's nothing. Nothing. And accurate too. This is the 2/8 line. Accurate. Accurate. All right, let's see if we can stretch the let me stretch it out. You can cast this one all the way to 60 feet. Got that stiffer, oops, watch out now. Could do better than that. Probably hit my camera behind me. But you see this one, I can throw it to 60 feet. Because it's got a little more backbone on it, the stiffer rod because of the carbon. See, look at there. This is a 2/8 line. This thing really shines with 3/8. This rod, to me, is better suited for 3/8. So, well, just shy of 60 foot. As I said before, oh, there you go. There's 60 foot. Well, I'll talk about it now since I've got the carbon. So, to me, carbon versus fiberglass, like, it's really hard to explain, but like you have, when you cast, you basically have the rod flexes. The rod will flex when you cast, and loading the rod and unloading the rod, casting. I have held some and casted some fiberglass rods, even poorly made carbon rods, that they don't recover well. Like whenever you get that, the recovery of the rod, and if it don't recover well and it wiggles back and forth like that, it shocks the line. You can see the line wiggling. It shocks the line, and that kills your casting. These JP Ross rods are well made. They he's put a lot of research and development in this thing, especially in the small stream stuff. And they flex really nice. They recover even better, so you don't get that line shock. Even the S-Glass, I've held some and casted some fiberglass rods, and when you cast forward or you bow and arrow cast, the rod, when it goes back to its thing, it'll go past and back up, then past and back up. So it kind of does this until it levels out. The JP's materials, his rod development or whatever, has minimized that waggle or wiggle, whatever you want to call it. And it cuts down on the line shock. The 3 weight, this is the Able. Let's see if we can get it to balance. Of course, it's getting springtime in Georgia, and now the wind wants to pick up, but see it, I'm twisting the line. The wind's got pushing. But see, it still balances right there in the bulk of the cork, but that's the Able 3 weight. Y'all seen the size difference. Balance is real nice. Well made. All right, let's cast this. "30 foot, no problem. To be expected. Minimal effort. I can do a side cast, small loop. To me, 3 weight line on this 6.5 foot carbon is the sweet spot for my taste. It loads the rod up real nice, slows it down a little bit to my taste. Some people like snappier, and if you like snappier, then put a 2 weight on the 6.5 foot Beaver Meadow carbon rod, because it'll be snappy, a little lighter for you. To me, I love the 3 weight. All right, let's see. Picks up line well. If I can fight the wind. Pick up. Got a cross breeze. Won't be casting 3 weight in the wind, especially not any distance. See that right there? I can cast that to 60 foot. No problem. No problem. I hope this comes out on camera. See that right there is just folded right out there, 60 foot, easily. As far as bow and arrow cast goes, no problem. See? Well, I hope you can capture that rebound on that rod. It's real nice. We'll pull more line out. No problem. Last but certainly not least, as the 5 foot Beaver Meadow. This is the Zen Emerald as well. It's just like my 6.5 foot. It is a 2-piece. Let's see the Beaver Meadow 5 foot 2-3. The emerald is the color. Got the mayfly engravings. 2-piece rod. So there you go. We'll get it rigged up and cast it. I'm gonna show the casting on this. Try to cast at 30, be no problem, and try to get out there 60. Ain't no way I can do that probably with this rod. I can try, but this is really not what this is intended for. This is a super small stream rod, primarily made for bow and arrow casting. It does it really well. But for those people out there wondering about casting a 5 foot JP, I'm gonna show you. So I can tell you it does cast nicely. On these rods too, like it's got this is real small diameter. that's really hard to do. I'm sure JP could attest to that. This is making a small rod is no easy feat. Why you think none of the large manufacturers really do it? One, they don't sell enough of them, and it takes a whole lot of time to develop one. See, 30 feet, no problem on the 5-footer. Man, this thing is so light and nimble. I guess too, I forgot to the balance. Let me get the, on this rod, the balance is a little further back because it is a 5-foot rod. See, it's really short and it's really tiny up front. So the balance is going to be further back on the cork instead of right here on the bulk of it. So, but it's not really a casting rod. You can, it's easy. Balance is a little further back. Not a huge deal to me. All right, let's see. See if we can pick up some of this line. This rod doesn't pick up as much line off the ground or the water as the other ones, obviously, because you're 1.5 feet shorter. No problem. Casting 30 feet, easily done. Now let me try. I'm gonna give this an attempt to cast a long distance. I can get to about 45 feet before all right, there's a little better, about 50 feet. Get to 50 feet before it just runs out of steam. I'm sure, like I've said this whole time, a really good fly caster that can double haul with ease can probably extend in there 15 or 20 feet further than I can, but yeah, I can do about 45 feet, maybe 50. Yeah, there we go, that's 50 foot. I'm also 6'4", and I have a wingspan pretty large. So this is where this rod shines, is in the bow and arrow casting. I mean, that thing, because it's so short, you can load that thing up really heavily and it just flicks it out there. I mean, I can fling, let's see if I can fling 30 feet of line. So I can wad this up here. I can bow and arrow cast 30 foot with this. Almost. Look at there. Oh yeah. Bow and arrow cast 30 foot. That was like nothing. It's probably hard to see because you can't see the leader rolling out there. But yeah, bow and arrow cast 30 foot with the 5-foot JP Ross Beaver Meadow. You can see this thing is a little stiffer, but that's what you want. You see the tip section has got a lot of flex. Going into the cork is stiff. It makes a good combo. It makes it good for bow and arrow casting. It makes it good for actually casting. You get that nice backbone right there. You can cast. So that's really well made. That was with the 2 weight. So let's see what the 3 weight is what I prefer. All right, got the 3 weight. So that with that Able reel, it's a little further back than the 2 weight because that Nirvana is just a little smaller, reel. So it's about a 1/2 inch further towards the butt than Nirvana. But it's just for your viewing pleasure. It ain't gonna affect it. I find myself when I do cast this rod, I do hold it further back in the back for some reason. I guess it's because it is balanced back there. I can feel it. But casting this rod, I'll usually hold it back here. All right, 3-weight. I prefer 3-weight on this because it is a smaller rod and the 3-weight does slow it down. See there, 30 foot casting, no problem. No problem. I got a headwind too now. No problem. Let's see what she'll do. Let's see if we can stretch her legs. And you will see that it'll open up the loops a little further. I can't quite cast it as far as a 2-weight. Obviously, getting about 40 feet out of it. Yeah, there's about 40 feet, maybe a little over 40 feet. I got to about 45 right there, but it took a whole lot more effort than the 2-weight. To me personally, on this 5-footer, if you want to cast it, you really gotta put the whip into it. You gotta send her with some line speed. Cast it. Not quite as much finessing as you do with the longer rods, because this one definitely loads up differently because it's super short. So obviously, I like JP Ross rods. I've purchased 3 of them. When I got the first one, I was immediately hooked. I knew they're great rods, well made, so I know it's hard to convey that via video. Each person handles stuff differently. They have different feels in their hands. You know, they got different casting abilities, their own personal taste. So this is just my taste on this. This is what I prefer, how I like rods, how I set mine up. You know, weights for 2 or 3 weights, different reels, stuff like that. So I hope this was informative enough to make, if you would like to purchase a JP Ross rod, they're great. Like I said, I've heard of in a lot of our videos. We love them. Not only does he's super good to us, but like I said, I've bought those 3 rods. So if that tells you anything, as y'all watched our videos prior to this, y'all know we spend a whole lot of time on small water. So gives us a little bit of a unique, I guess, perspective or outlook on small stream equipment. So I hope that this come across and you could understand it and people can see what I can feel through my arm. I know it's really tough to do. So I hope this was informative. I'm sure if you got any questions, also we started our Blue Liner podcast. You can check us out, Apple Podcast, Google, I think iHeartRadio. It's called the Blue Liners. We got our first episode up there. So it's pretty much going to be all things small streams. So with you know, if you know me and Hamp, especially Hamp, I love to tell stories. So there'll be a lot of information on there as well as a couple funny stories. So I hope y'all enjoyed this. Maybe it'll come out right and you can maybe make an informed decision and see if you yourself would want a JP. Thank y'all for watching. Until next time.